Tara, thank you so much for joining us. My first question to you is, out of all the verticals at the Max Group, where does your heart lie?
I founded Antara, which is our senior living space. So that's definitely been my baby for the last 10 years, and that's where my focus is. Having said that, I took over as managing trustee of our foundation last year. So that also plays a very significant role in my life.
All right. Now you spoke about senior living. How did the idea come about, keeping in mind the fact that the joint family system exists in India? Also, given the statistics, according to McKinsey, it's a $10 billion market in India, but we still have the joint Indian family system.
That's changing, Ambika, and we are also scaling up at a pace where we're not trying to do everything all at once. We're trying to address that client or that consumer that isn't in a joint family system, that is living independently, that needs products and services to support the aging process. So as a result, it's definitely a changing paradigm from when I started the concept 10 years ago through a conversation with someone I was having in Hong Kong. And they were talking about the concept in Southeast Asia. I realized, why are we not thinking about this for India? The demographics are quite similar, the aging system and processes, and the lack of infrastructure is very similar to what China is facing, etc. So it was a journey I embarked on, and it's been a very, very interesting one to see how people's psyche and approach to this entire space has evolved.
You have a property in Dehradun. Senior living amidst COVID must be a challenge. How are you dealing with it?
It has been, but interestingly, I think it's only helped us be more agile. So we launched our community, what we call a continuing care community in Dehradun about 4 years ago. So that's operational and running, and we have people living in there. We went into lockdown well before the government stipulated it because we could see what was coming. We moved in our staff well in advance, and we stopped all in and out movement, and we've continued that trend. So we've touchwood been very lucky there. What's been interesting though is in this time of COVID, we launched our Noida project. So that's gone into sale mode, and it's been interesting that people are respecting and understanding the benefit of living in a community where everything is taken care of, especially at a time when they've been through a lockdown, they've been through insecurities of care. So that response has been very interesting for Noida. And we actually yesterday launched a new vertical for Antara, what we call care homes. And that's specifically for older populations, smaller assets all over Delhi. We launched in Gurgaon yesterday, which will be specifically for care. So whereas our Antara Residences vertical is about lifestyle, and this is more about life care. So we'll see how that demand picks up in the coming weeks. Again, I think people are finding it very relevant, having come out of the entire COVID situation.
All right. Now, I'm sure you must have researched or come about the imposter syndrome that a lot of women have, where in any particular situation, they feel they cannot ask for a raise, or they're kind of nervous to express their opinion or to raise their hand. What's your solution to the imposter syndrome for all the women watching?
I think it's the communication and the narrative around it. I think we are all... there is this subliminal messaging that society does, and we are all at fault because we also fall into those patterns. And I think the starting point of any shift, any changes, has to be talking about it and communicating it. We are lucky in my organization and in my group, the equality and the diversity narrative is very different, I think, than it is in a lot of the organizations. And it's probably because I'm led the team, and I'm a woman, and I'm grateful for it. So I think if we all just start thinking and speaking about the opportunities, I think it will create a shift. I don't think there are any other tricks up our sleeves that are going to make these shifts overnight. It's a long-term uphill task to create that sense of equality, but we have to be able to have conversations around it to create any change. And that's what I believe we can all do.
All right. Last question. I was reading a book called Ikigai, which is about the Japanese philosophy for longevity. Have you borrowed any Eastern philosophies for the running of Anantara?
The truth is, Amika, that we as an Indian community have all those philosophies so embedded in our culture, we don't have to look anywhere. And of course, Eastern philosophy links in quite easily with the Indian philosophy. So, of course, some ideas of longevity and the quality of the longevity have been inspired by our Vedas, our ways of living, and of course some parts of Ikigai, but nothing that I would say is our brand or our positioning, because Antara really believes in being a sum of all its parts, and one thing cannot exist without the other. So when we look at wellness and well-being, we look at it at 6 different levels and paradigms, and each of those have to be addressed. So I wouldn't be able to put a label on our products and services linking it directly back, but we're very rooted in our culture, in our heritage, in our ancestry, in Ayurveda, in wellness, both mental and physical, to be able to create a healthy long life, not just the long life.
So you are part of this show, which is called Weekending. What does it mean to you in the current world?
Because we have such a busy work week, Monday to Friday, that the importance of the weekend has actually stayed as relevant to me as before. So I work till lunchtime on Saturday, and then to me it means more time with my daughter, a swim, time with my in-laws and my husband, and a nap. For me, that's the most exciting part of my weekend.
All right, lovely. Thank you so much once again.